Hello there guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Sal speaking. Today I'm going to talk about bows and arrows, specifically in prehistoric times. The bow is one of the oldest weapons in the history of the world. Predates recorded history. Archery is the art of shooting arrows from bows, and also it is a sport nowadays. The bow and arrows appears around the transition from Paleolithic, specifically Upper Paleolithic, to the Mesolithic. After the end of the last glacial period, use of the bow seems to have spread to every inhabited continent, including the New World, except Australia. Captain Cook noticed that the Aborigines preferred to use a spear instead of the bow and arrow. The oldest extant bows in one piece are the Holmegaard bows, which are from Denmark and are dated 9,000 years BCE. High-performance wooden bows are actually made following the Holmegaard pattern or design. The Stellmoor bow fragments from northern Germany were dated to about 9,000 BCE. However, they were destroyed in Hamburg during the Second World War. The bow was an important weapon both for hunting and for warfare, from prehistoric times until the widespread use of gunpowder in the 16th century. The basic elements of a bow are a pair of curved elastic limbs, traditionally made from wood, joined by a riser. Both ends of the limbs are connected by a string known as the bowstring. By pulling the string backwards, the archer exerts compressive force on the string-facing section, or belly, of the limbs, as well as placing the outer section, or back, under tension. While the string is held, this stores the energy later released in putting the arrow to flight. The force required to hold the string stationary at full draw is often used to express the power of a bow, and is known as its draw weight or weight. Other things being equal, a higher draw weight means a more powerful bow, which is able to project heavier arrows at the same velocity, or the same arrow at a greater velocity. The various parts of the bow can be subdivided into further sections. The topmost limb is known as the upper limb, while the bottom limb is the lower limb. At the tip of each limb is a nock, which is used to attach the bowstring to the limbs. The riser is usually divided into the grip, which is held by the archer, as well as the arrow rest and the bow window. The arrow rests in a small ledge or extension above the grip, which the arrow rests upon while being aimed. The bow window is that part of the riser above the grip, which contains the arrow rest. One of my subscribers brought to my attention this guy from Primitive Technology. I think he's a really cool guy. He shows you how to build a house, for example, and he shows you how to build a bow and arrows from scratch. And that's really interesting. You can find a link below. I'm going to actually show you what it does. Take a look. The end of the arrow that is designed to hit the target is called arrowhead. Materials used in the past for arrowheads are flint, bone, and horn. And in the modern version, of course, you will find metal. But if we're talking about prehistory, of course we don't have any metal during that specific time. We must admit that using bows and arrows really helped a lot in the hunting process. As you have seen from this video, you can really notice that you can make a bow and arrows from scratch, and that this weapon is actually really effective. It's really effective when it comes to hunting. Also, back in the days, during like wars or little battles, the archers had the opportunity to hit their enemies from afar. You know, the more you extend the rope, the more power you will produce. And so also, like, to be a good archer, you would need to train a lot and have the strength to pull, you know, the actual cord, the actual rope. There are certain bows for certain people. I'm talking about the height of the people. If you're short, you need to have you need to build a specific type of bow. The taller you are, everything changes in the mechanic of the bow itself. It makes me really interested to know more about this history, to know more about how hominids would hunt. And I think, as I said before in my previous video, when I talked about prehistoric weapons, I believe that hunting back in the days was somewhat easier, as the world was more populated by animals than it is today. As you know, I am from Palermo, Sicily, and I live in one of the most beautiful islands of the world. Here there is a lot of history, the food is great, and people tend to be really friendly and even hospitable. You know, they're very nice. And so when you walk around this island, when you walk around my city, for example, you are surrounded by history. And so even in Palermo, there are traces of primitive culture. In fact, we do have the caves of Adaura, called Grotte della Daura in Italian, which is a place where you can find actually prehistoric graffitis. And as you can see from these pictures, the Adaura cave, in Italian Grotta della Daura, is a complex of 3 natural grottos located on the northeast side of Mount Pellegrino in Palermo, Sicily, southern Italy. The importance of the complex is due to the presence of cave wall engravings dated to the late Epigravettian, contemporaneous with the Magdalenian and the Mesolithic. Well, talking about bows and arrows was fun. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope we can all learn from our ancestors. Thank you so much for watching, for your support, and for your comments. If you have any suggestions, please write it down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, if you feel sad, you better call Sal.